Yeah. Just because the quote-unquote soon-to-be shutdown is over doesn't mean things get back to normal right away when it comes to, especially to the air travel. So they're talking about that this is still going to take a week or so. I mean, we should be fine by Thanksgiving, which was making a lot of people uncomfortable on both sides of the aisle before the Democrats threw the towel in and said, all right, let's get back to work. Well, they're going to get Obamacare. They're not going to. Obamacare isn't even going to really, did you hear Mike Johnson's like, we may vote. We may not. It's possible. We could have a conversation about it. I don't know. Maybe not. They're not. Now, Trump says he's got a plan. You have to have a plan. Here's the thing. All that being said, when it comes to, yes, you know what? Obamacare was stupid. It was. It was never what they sold it as, and people could see that coming from miles and miles away. All right? But here's the thing. You've got now what you wanted with Obamacare's dead and done and dusted, and there's no more subsidies. So you're going to own the thing. And you've got to realize when you own something like this, people now are going to look to you. And I've heard some people go, well, that was the Democrats' fault. Yeah, but you're in charge. So that means you got to figure out a way to fix it because you've talked about how horrible it's been for years.
We want a healthcare system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies. And I tell you, we're going to be working on that very hard over the next short period of time where the people get the money.
Yeah. Well, no. First of all, don't ever give the people money. I don't know if you're aware of this, but they're not much of savers.
They're not going to spend it on health care.
They're not. Man, you gave everybody money, I guarantee you. Lottery tickets and smokes are going to be flying out many places.
They'd have to put something in the law that required it to go into an HSA or something like that. Yeah,
you have to. And it failed for like a gazillion reasons. And they knew, first of all, here's one thing you can't do, ladies and gentlemen. The people out there who benefited from this were the people that wrote the law. They invited them into the conversation to help them craft this, okay? So what was there? No cost controls.
And that's actually a very normal occurrence, too. A lot of times when you hear about bills being introduced, the sponsor didn't write it, a lobbyist did, and he brought it in.
Yeah. The difference is, though, normally you have a lobbyist or two, and they're not crafting for the entire industry. They may have a say, like oil, but that's going to benefit this or that. This was, we're crafting for and there was no cost controls. No cost controls. None. Welcome to a world when you got no cost controls. Boom.
Well, why do you want cost controls when you're sucking off the government teat?
Well, you don't.
No,
you don't.
Not at all.
No, you don't. The other thing, you have hospital monopolies. If you're not paying attention to what's going on with hospitals, you need to. They're buying up hospitals all over the place. They're creating monopolies. And what they're doing, they're shutting down smaller hospitals. They're creating monopolies, which isn't good for us. It's not. They always talk about, and by the way, the Republicans are just as guilty as the Democrats across the board. They're fine with big business. Everybody pays their bill. They're okay with it. And these things are bad. Catastrophic plans, all eliminated. What do? We have the one size for everybody. So you're a 52-year-old male, you get pregnancy coverage. You're a 43-year-old woman, how's your prostate? Now, in today's world for the Democrats, that might seem normal, but it's not in reality. Not when it comes to actual stuff. Okay? You don't need mental health care for everything. You don't need maternity. We put everything inside. It's like one of those things where you want a bag of chips, yet you got to buy this ginormous, huge bag of chips with everything in it that you're never going to eat. That was it. But all I wanted was that. That's all I needed. So you took catastrophe out of it. You can't do that. And then what happened? Well, and this could be one of the things that was probably the most expensive thing of it all. having to cover pre-existing conditions meant what? The sick and the elderly, in particular, crowded into the pool. The young, the healthy paid the fine and they moved on. So you had a smaller pool that was more expensive with no cost control. What do you think's going to happen? And then, of course, you've got the subsidies. They masked everything, but they never fix anything, right? You put Band-Aid on a bullet wound a few times, but that was it. And then, of course, the networks, they narrowed across the board. High deductibles became the fix, which is, well, we'll charge you less, but your deductible will be virtually impossible to reach. And if you've reached it, you're in a lot of trouble. So there you go. And then the regulatory. The more it became regulatory issues that were involved, the more that there was red tape, the more that you had 12 different administrators between you and your healthcare provider, the more expensive it became. And the lobbyist won. That was it. What do people want? You want a relationship with your healthcare provider. And for a young, healthy person, you want a catastrophic. Those are the fixes. Nobody should go bankrupt because they got cancer. Right? We don't want that in our country. There's got to be a fix there. Nobody should go bankrupt. We didn't know, when it comes to, not only, everybody talks about the pharmacy and all this kind of stuff. Well, now that we're negotiating down some drug prices, but we could have done that for years and they didn't. Oh, and it's not just drug prices. By the way, we paid way 2, 3, 4 times more when it came to just procedures. So there was a lot that goes into this. It was not a one-size-fits-all like they wanted it to be. They thought everybody would flock to it and they would keep these prices low. Never was going to happen. It isn't. But here's the thing, Republicans, you own it now. Even though it was the Democrats, now you have a chance to own it. Be the fix. And it ain't going to be perfect. But if you could bring some prices down, I think people would appreciate that. Give them what they want. Catastrophic. People want the a la carte, right? They want to go and they want to go, I need catastrophic, where if you get hit by the bus kind of thing, I need that. I can pay for out of pocket for most everything else. And, and that's where you go. But I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because, how now you've got these people entrenched in the making of this. They don't want to give up, as you said, getting off the teat of American taxpayers. But you have to show that you're making a move to fix. Because if you don't, what's going to happen is allowing the subsidies to go away are going to land on you in the midterms at a time when the economy already feels like it's kicking people in the grundle. And I know people don't want to hear that and they get mad at me, but that's just reality of it. It is. And, like some of you are like, I'm never going to listen to your show again. I'm okay with that. I mean, no offense. It doesn't hurt my feelings. I've been in this business for a long time. You know how many people tell me they hate me on a daily basis? A whole freaking bunch. Why? Because you don't say what I want you to say.
Well, I'm going to stop doing it if I'm not unique.
Yeah. No, I don't care if you do. I mean, I got to see you every day. So, but Buc-ee's, man, I'll tell you what, if Buc-ee's got themselves a little, little med unit over there, how great would that be? Oh, Buc-ee MD. Wouldn't it be awesome, too, if the Buc-ee comes out, the Beaver comes out, and he's all like, I'm Dr. Beaver. Oh. But you know who's getting ready to do? Is it? I think it's Amazon. It's going to have like Amazon Med or one of those things where it's $99 a month. It's $99 a month, but if you're a Prime member, I think it's $199 for the year. And it's like having telemedicine. What do most people need?
Well, isn't that designed to compete with Mark Cuban's website?
Yeah. But what do most people want? They want to be able, if their kid's sick or they're sick, for you to write a prescription for, whatever it is, antibiotic you need. Okay? That's what they want. Most people are. Most people, the goal is not to use it. I think it was 40% of people who had Obamacare never used it, or at least never, submitted anything. Why is that? Because so much of the stuff was not necessary. People want to be able to, because when we were younger, when you would go to your mom would take you to your pediatrician, she would take you there because you were sick. That was it. She didn't take you there all the time. If you had the sniffles and you had a cold, you go there, you get your little antibiotics, and you go home. And away it went. It was as needed there. And then if you got really sick, it was a different story. And that's what people want, the as-needed scenario for the day-to-day world, and then the catastrophic if, indeed, stuff goes sideways. And like we said, you get hit by that bus, you're going to probably hit that $50,000 deductible with your $4,000 copay.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Beaver, stop that with those horrible things.
Dr. Beaver.
Dr. Beaver, I presume.
Paging Dr. Beaver.
Dr. Beaver. That would be, but that's what people want. Simple, easy, transparent. People want the basics with the event scenario where they have that net just in case. It shouldn't be this hard. The issue is nobody's making money in the industry that lobbies so freaking much. And that's a problem. Because you have to feed them because they help keep you fed. And once they get intertwined, K Street, if you guys don't know what K Street is, go to, whenever you're in D.C., there's a place called K Street. You know what's on there? The Lobbyist. And they're the most powerful people, maybe, in D.C. because they're the ones who stick around and they get stuff done because they've got the money. They do. And it pisses us all off. The money in politics the way it is. There's always going to be some money. But to this extent now, it's insane. It really is. K Street's kind of neat, though, if you've never been there. There's a lot. Lobbyists are really cool. They have a lot of money, and they don't do a lot of things. They just hang out. All their goal is to wine and dine people. How would that be to be a goal, dude? Just wine and dine. Make $500,000 a year, taking people out to lunch,
it's
trying
like
to get bills back.
A music promotion person, but you're doing it for industry.
Yeah, you're doing it for Ozempic, or you're doing it for oil industry, or you're doing it for whatever they come up with. The hemp industry, they need a better one. Hey, what was the deal yesterday with Rand Paul? I didn't see the final outcome.
So the Department of Agriculture portion of this bill passed in the Senate, according to Rand Paul, effectively kills everything in the hemp industry that contains THC.
Oh.
And that was brought to you by his counterpart, Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
So good job with the choices there, Kentucky.
Good God.
And to Rand Paul's credit, he didn't threaten to shut the government down to stop it, but his deal is it's basically going to wipe out Kentucky's hemp industry, which is nearly $500 million a year.
Yeah.
Well,
But it's going to wipe out everybody's
and
hemp
the
industry.
reason for this is?
Some lobbyist asked McConnell to do it.
That's all.
What do
I
you
can
bet
think
you
of.
trace that back to some sort of, I don't know, big pharma, because they could
Or
find
the
out that
liquor industry.
that hemp could figure something else out and help you with something.
It's probably that in the liquor industry.
Yeah. God. This whole,
You can't let people make their own decisions, man. They might do something dumb.
Yeah.
well, there's plenty of dumb out there. The stupid is strong, is what we're trying to say.
But it's okay, to drink an entire fifth and then get out there and kill a family on the highway.
Yeah, but if you're
That's okay.
Yeah, but if you're smoking weed, man, that's a responsibility. It's just way above your pay grade. That's why we need Grady here to tell you why it's so bad. He stands there holding his Bible, shaking it at you. Don't do that. It's bad for you. Weed's bad. I have a report from somewhere that says it's a gateway drug. To this day, I've never met somebody who's been on drugs heavily who really started with marijuana. You know what they did start with? Mom and Dad's liquor cabinet.
booze.
And their cigarettes.
And their cigarettes. Oh, man. I'll tell you what. All right, coming up, Hot Take Tuesday. We got your hot takes. Hot takes coming in hot. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show. Super Talk 99.7. It is Tuesday, so you know what that means. Hot Take Tuesday. Yeah. Spirit fingers. Gotta love the spirit fingers. It's Hot Take. We give our hot take. What's the hot take? It's up to you. Anything but politics. That's our hot take. Every single Tuesday we do it at the same time. We're going to start this time with Kent.
If you don't pick up after your dog, you're not a pet owner. You're a public nuisance with a leash.
Yes, you are.
What do? Let your dog cop a squat in your house?
No. Again, I'm fascinated by people that don't pick up their dog. Yes, once in a great while, you've got nothing because, I don't know, whatever. You thought you had a bag. You didn't. You know what? You can walk back.
Yep.
It's not that hard. It's not.
Use a sandwich bag if you have to.
There you go. Yeah. Use your sandwich if you have to. All right?
Would you stop it?
I don't care. Pick up your dog's crap. It's not that hard. Gee, man, this is why we can't have nice things.
That's why.
For me, my hot take today is the one, the only, Weird Al. Al Yankovic. Southern California boy. Plays the accordion. He's one of the great rock stars of all time. Yes, doing parodies, but you know what? They're brilliant and they're amazing. And he's a showman with his curly hair. I do believe he should be the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Period. Case closed. End of story.
I agree.
I don't think that's that much of a hot take. I think it's just right.
No, you know what? You'd be surprised. He's definitely divides a lot of people because people think Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and they think they should be a rocker. Somebody who's had. It holds all kinds. Okay. And he is one of those ones that I think is musically brilliant. And he's quite frankly, he's kind of a genius. A man that was able to live his life the way he was with an accordion, for God's sakes.
Well, if you disagree with that, then that just makes you wrong.
Yeah, well, like if you disagree with any of our stuff, you're all wrong. We know that. No poop bag, use your sock. I like that one. I like that. Scoop it up with your shoe. I don't give a rat's ass that you're late for a meeting.
Just pick it up.
Silly dumbasses.
By the way, my favorite Weird Al song is I'm Fat.
Oh, so true.
And Michael Jackson apparently was quite excited whenever he was approached to use when he was approached by Weird Al to do the parody of I'm Bad.
I love that.
And
I love that he was.
Absolutely. He was a big Weird Al fan.
He's like, is there going to be children? You're like, Michael, settle down. Settle down. All right, youngster, what's yours?
Mine is if you manage a retail store, especially you, the dude managing the grocery store in East Nashville, you put the hand carts by the entrance, not over by the exit. Idiot.
Idiot. You're an idiot.
It's just like traffic. There's too many people merging at the entrance to the grocery store.
Too many. Well, plus, as Bell says, rightly, you're walking in and you have to then what? Go all the way over to the left, get your basket, then come back over to the right.
And the problem it causes is that people grab the basket and then they want to go in the exit.
Yes. And see, then you've got people. It's
chaos.
Chaos. Chaos. We don't need that. It's not who we are. We're America.
It shouldn't be happening.
No, it shouldn't. Good God. I'm telling you guys, stop. Enough of this. All right, coming up, talk a little bit about the economy. Got some of your text messages of hate, which are hilarious. Talk a little bit about that as well. And speaking of Michael Jackson, I'll tell you a little something there. A little something to know. Straight ahead, Chad Benson Show, Super Talk 997. All right, guys, my friends, we're at Board Capital. They're amazing. I want to talk to you about what you're doing with your retirement, what you're doing with your investments. Now, next week, they're doing a review preview show. It is a webinar. It is live, 3:30 Pacific. It's 5:30 our time. And it's absolutely free to join. They're going to talk to you about what it is they do that's so much different. Being active investors, one of the things that makes them so much different is the fact that they're global investors. They don't just focus here in the United States. In fact, they look at the United States right now and say, it's a little overbought in certain areas. So where else can we take our value investing and make it work for you? They're going to show you what they're all about. On top of that, lower risk, lower cost, lower volatility. It is free. It is the review preview show. It is a webinar happening next Thursday. It's 20th at 5:30 our time. Okay? So Why not sign up for it? Absolutely free. Go to knowyourriskpodcast.com, KNOW, yourriskpodcast.com for Bulwark Capital Management. Investment advisor service offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Invest involve risk, not a guarantee. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 25338. Michael Jackson, still dead. But first in history to score a Hot 100 top 10 hits in 6 different decades. Because if you guys haven't seen, his biopic is getting ready to come out. And I got to be honest with you, as much as I think he's a creeper, damn, it looks good. It looks really good.
A lot of kids in it.
Probably. You know what? It's very upbeat from what, and what's his name? Anthony Fuqua, who does a lot of those action movies like with Denzel. He directed it. And it looks.
Does it start from him as a child?
Yeah, it shows a lot of him when he was younger. And I think it
right.
leaves a lot out of the horrors that he also went through. But it is.
In terms of the abuse from his father?
Yeah. That's it. It's a little bit more upbeat. But it looks really, really good. Kind of like the Queen one did. Which I thought, obviously Rami Malek was amazing in that. So.
Yeah, that was well done.
That was so well done. And this just looks really good. And I have troubles with Michael Jackson. I do, because I don't buy that nothing happened. But that's neither here nor there. So we'll see if they address it in the movie. It'll be interesting to see if they do any of that. I don't know if they will or won't. So a lot of people are mad at Trump.
Hey, before we move on, did you see the story about Paris Jackson?
She's hot.
She posted a picture, I think it was on Instagram, where she has a perforated septum from drug use.
Yeah, this is what happens when because she got the vast majority of the money.
Was she firstborn?
Yes. To the dentist and that lady? Yes. Because that's what it was. The people are mad at Trump because today he met with the new president of Syria. And if you don't know who he is, he was at one time. First, he was in ISIS, and then he was in Al-Qaeda. He switched teams. And his name is Muhammad al-Jawalani. And they met today, and everybody's like, on, Veterans Day. This is the world of strange bedfellows. Okay, guys? The reality is, this is what you do, right? This is a region where this guy is trying to get the sanctions off. He's trying to rebuild Syria. And yes, he was a bad dude. We had a poster up for him last year, $10 million. And I think at one time we had him in captivity at some point in time.
Don't they actually have, isn't Syria joining some kind of anti-ISIS coalition
Yeah,
now?
They're going to be part of, what is it called? I think they're going to be part of the Abraham Accords, if I'm correct. So, somebody just said, al-Sharar was jailed by the U.S. forces as an insurgent. Yeah, from 2005 2011 was the leader of the militant group Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which was, of course, Al-Qaeda. And, he did. But as much as it sucks, the reality is strange bedfellows. This is what happens. He's the guy that won. He's the guy that says, I want my country back. He's the guy that they think is going to get there. And it's strange bedfellows. I get it. But that's the world we live in when it comes to politics throughout the Middle East. Strange bedfellows are sometimes we have to break bread. Yesterday, he's shooting hoops out at the White House. Shooting hoops with people from the military. And I know a lot of, like Petraeus a couple weeks ago was bragging about this guy, a guy he wanted to blow up at one time. But unfortunately, as much as we want everybody to be all about democracy and freedom, this is not that world. It isn't. And sometimes a bad dude is needed to hopefully become not the bad dude. So settle down, everybody. Settle down, everybody. Settle down. The economy, it's the best it's ever been. It's never been better. Just want to tell you guys, it's the greatest economy in the history of mankind. It's never been better.
It was a con job. It was a con job. Affordability, they call it, was a con job by the Democrats. The Democrats are good at a few things: cheating on elections and conning people with facts that aren't true. They said, "Oh, I don't want to talk about affordability." The reason I don't want to talk about affordability is because everybody knows that it's far less expensive under Trump than it was under Sleepy Joe Biden, and the prices are way down.
Look, are things cheaper? A few things are cheaper, but is it overall cheaper? No. There are some things that are cheaper. It's the don't tell everybody in America how great things are when they're telling you they don't feel it.
If he had said inflation's way down, that would have been 100% factual.
Yeah.
But prices don't go down when you still have a little bit of inflation. That means they're still going up.
Yeah.
Just at a much slower rate.
And then you throw tariffs in there.
Yeah.
Which is something else that's not being accounted for. You could say inflation's down, fine. But you know what? You've added inflation that has nothing to do with what we would consider normal inflation by adding tariffs. And people are feeling it. And you can't dismiss the way that people feel because that's what Biden did. Yes, Biden did a lot of things. Well, he didn't know he did, but apparently he did. But when you go and you tell everybody, hey, I know you think it's expensive. Deal with it. It's great. It's never been better. It's the greatest economy in the history of economies. It's never been better. It's the best economy ever. No, people are struggling right now. They are. They're feeling it. People are living paycheck to paycheck.
This economy is not better than his first term.
No.
That economy was smoking hot.
That was. And which also at times led to a bit of inflation. The reality is, in his first term, you know what Trump should have done? And looking back, I think he knows this. He should have raised rates slowly. By raising rates slowly, what does that do? It slows a bit of the economy down so it doesn't get super hot. Then COVID came, which threw everything sideways. Let's be real, right? COVID threw everything sideways. And so it's hard to get a real understanding of what it would look like through the entire time. But now it's his economy, and he's going to have to deal with it. But you can't dismiss people's worries and reality, right? Like you can talk about woke stuff, right? You could talk about all of that stuff, and you could say certain things over and over again, and people know it's not true, but maybe some people will believe it. But their checks and their bank account tell the truth. I mean, you're telling me things are great, but
every time at the grocery store, reality sinks in.
Yeah. You can't go in there and it's like, hey, here's my great credit card for my great economy. No, people are feeling it. They are. And this is it. And it's funny, you can't have these not even a nuanced conversation, just a reality conversation. You want to win next year? If the economy sucks, doesn't matter what you do outside of it, you're going to get your asses handed to you. Period. You are. You're going to get handed to you in a major way because that's what we do. We're still a checkbook society when it comes to voting. And people aren't feeling it. Yes, some of you are like, the economy's never been greater since Trump is in. Yeah, okay. For you. But for every one of those I get a lot of people go, I'm a huge Trump supporter, but it's not the greatest economy of all time, and I'm feeling it. And this is no slight to Trump. This is just reality. The slight to Trump is stop lying to people, gaslighting them, telling them how great it is.
And the thing that's frustrating is he understands what it takes to get the economy going. He did it once already.
Yeah.
So we should be doing a lot better than we are right now.
We should. We should. Absolutely. And his tariff things, by the way, I don't know what's going to happen, but the thought, somebody said earlier, somebody asked me earlier on the text line about him sending out $2,000 checks. That is a disaster. And by the way, like Kevin Hassett, whoever that guy is, right? That guy's a goober. That guy, it's a guy that looks like he snitches on you and ruins your summer fun to your mom because he doesn't want you to have fun. But even Benson came out and was like, well, maybe some tax cuts or something like that. Because if we send out $2,000 checks to people, even in the middle class or poor, that is going to put us even in more deficit.
Yep.
Okay?
Because immediately retailers and whoever are going to raise their prices.
Yeah. And on top of that, what are you going to have? Well, this thing, I think we're pretty much, I would say it's about 80, 90% that this thing, as far as the tariffs go, aren't going to go in Trump's favor. And so what's going to happen? So we're going to owe money, and we're going to have no money because we spent it out, and we've supercharged the economy. That feels like a recipe for. So, and they understand that. Benson understands. Benson's like, no, we're not going to do that. And everybody's already got their tax break. Right? Isn't that the whole thing with this giant, one big, beautiful bill? Everybody got a tax break.
Why are the Republicans saying nothing? If this is quote unquote found money, why are the Republicans saying nothing about throwing it at the debt?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah. Well,
throw $2,000 per American adult into the debt.
But you know why? Because it doesn't get you the votes you need. That's it. This has nothing to do with lowering the debt. Here's the thing. The one big beautiful bill isn't going to shrink our debt. Our spending is still the same. You notice how we're not going to pay for subsidies? You know what I don't hear? That money going anywhere else. It's going to go somewhere else inside the government to pay for more crap. But it's not paying down the debt. We're still going to be upside down. And the tariffs, what happens when we got to pay them back? They're already trying to figure out how not to do it. Like, what do we do? How do we not pay this stuff back? Could we give everybody IOUs? No. And you're right, man. If I thought the whole thing about the tariffs was it's going to help us get out of this giant, huge debacle of $38 trillion in debt. But it's not. So let's be honest about it. Keep the money somewhere where we can't screw it up, which they won't, instead of spending it. And don't send $2,000 checks out to people that are below the poverty line or the middle class. At this point in time, it's best that we just kind of hold steady until we see what this thing comes out with as far as the ruling of the Supreme Court. And I still think it's going to go against Trump because I think there's enough conservatives on there who are looking and going, yeah, you're using it in a way that's never been used, and it was never meant to be used that way. Never meant to be used that way. But stop gaslighting us when it comes to telling everybody, when they're telling you, like, if you do this, if you go to your wife tonight and she is upset and you start to tell her how she feels, you let us know how that goes.
Whoo, boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just hand her a broom and she'll be all right.
There you go. That's once again, Bell.
Up.
Yeah. He's like, honey, did I not tell you that you're the best sweeper I've ever met? Mopper? Bell. Bell's
Nobody
the
handles
worst.
Nobody handles a dustbin like that.
So, you Trump haters need to stay with it. The president announced that tariff income will be used to pay down the national debt.
No, he didn't.
What do you mean we need? Why? First of all, why am I a hater? Because I don't.
Because you're not bending the knee, kissing the ring, and
don't do that stuff.
saying all this nice stuff and being hyperbolic about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you said over and over again, you're not blaming Trump. This is what is happening, and he's the one in office.
He is.
And he's the one who said on day one prices were coming down.
Yeah. He did.
And that's not blaming Trump. That's just a fact.
That's 100%. That's the fact.
If you get angry about people repeating what he said, maybe the problem's you.
Maybe the problem's you. That's exact. And it's one of those things where I care about us, right? I care about the voter, the American. Parties, you guys get behind a party to a point of ridiculousness where they can do no wrong. Trust me, if you think the Republican Party gives a rat's ass overall about you, go look at the numbers across the board through time. If you think the Democrats care about anything other than their wacky, crazy ideas and basically being led around by activists, again, everybody, you're wrong. Both parties care about themselves and the power that they can get. I care about what we can try to get them to do for us, which is mostly get the hell out of our way and allow us to live our lives. You know, like the weed thing, which is a battle all the time. I know 3 people who took weed and now are heroin addicts. I'm like, okay, really? Like you're the only 3 people in the world that did.
I know 50 that didn't.
Yeah, I know. So who wins? You're up by 47. Anybody else? All right, coming up, Matt's here. I just saw him. His hair looks a little messy, like he's just been riding around on a motorcycle all day partying. You never know with that guy.
We got to ask him about the cost of tires for his Harley.
Yeah, we should do that. We'll do that straight ahead. Chad Benson, Super Talk 997. All right. Wrapping it up on this beautiful Tuesday, Veterans Day. All the veterans out there, God bless you. Thank you so very much. You see a veteran today, say thank you. say thank you. I want to shout out to my uncle who passed away several years ago. He was a Vietnam vet. And the later years of his life, he talked about stuff. For a lot of his years, he talked about nothing. But then, he'd say some things. I'm like, Uncle Vic, I don't need to know this.
A lot of guys in that generation, and some of them are still with us, they just chose to set it aside and not discuss it.
Yeah.
And a lot of their family members want to discuss it, and they like, not so much.
Yeah, that's very
Not so
true.
much.
Very true.
You ever been to Arlington?
Yes, when I was younger. I didn't appreciate. I was so young at the time. You don't really. I was there for like a soccer tournament. You don't really appreciate some of the stuff like Gettysburg and stuff.
Right.
You got to go. You appreciate that stuff older. Same thing. I went and redid a lot of when I was in Europe. When I was young, we went to all of these sites. But then I went later on in life where I appreciated a lot more.
I had no concept of how Gettysburg. I had been to several, Civil War battlefields in the South. But I had not been to any in Tennessee at the time that I went to Gettysburg. This is before I got to Tennessee. And I had no clue how Gettysburg would impact me. And it was amazing to me to this moment, the way that it emotionally impacted. I mean, this is something that happened 150 years ago, right? But to be there and to kind of overlay what went down and just the absolute death and sacrifice, and everybody thought they were right. Everybody thought they were on God. God was on our side, everybody said. And just very impactful. And the fact that they preserved it in the manner that they did and recognized so quickly, we need to keep this.
Yes.
This is something that we need to make sure that we keep as it is, because people need to remember what happened here. Yeah. And they did that all over the country during the Civil War, but in Gettysburg, no place more impactful than Gettysburg to me.
Yeah, that's right. And it's again, I was there when I was so young. And I hear you feel it. It's like the same thing when I was in Europe, and you go to to France and to some of these places, and you're there, and in like even certain parts of Belgium, the Ardennes and stuff like that, you can go and every once in a while you just walk and there's a shell, there's something on the ground,
right.
Something spent. Because to us, because we were so far removed from something like that back in the day.
Right.
When you hear stories about, like in the Civil War, people would go eat their lunch and they'd watch it for entertainment. And then they were like horrified.
Well, if you've not been to the Carter House and to down in Franklin, I would encourage you to go. There's the Lutz House, which is right across the street from the Carter House, and the Cardenton House, which is just down the way. But it's all about the Battle of Franklin. But the Carter family, So they hadn't seen their son in 2 years, and I'll get some of the details wrong, so y'all don't blow me up on the super text, because I apologize. I'm trying to relate a story as best I can, remember it. But like one of the sons, I think his name was Todd Carter. They hadn't seen him in 2.5 years. He was a part of a division that happened to land in Franklin at the Battle of Franklin, and it happened to be on his family's property, and he died on his property. And his family, who hadn't seen him in 2.5 years, were in the root cellar of their house while this battle is happening over their house. I mean, it's happening, and they're just civilians. They're just trying to avoid death, really. And over the course of 12 or 14 hours, thousands of people died. And the buildings are still intact. I think the smokehouse is I want to say it's the most bullet riddled object from the Civil War that's still standing.
That's just crazy.
And so the smokehouse was in the line of fire either way, and you go into the smokehouse, and I took a picture of the smokehouse, and there was sun coming in and there's just holes everywhere, just everywhere. It's just fascinating, that era, and then obviously you move forward and what the conscripted soldiers went through in Vietnam is just
especially because Korea was the forgotten war, right? World War II was celebrated. Those men are celebrated. Those women are celebrated. But Vietnam is like the soldiers. You guys got the blame for something that you were told you had to go and do.
Yeah, and literally you would get sent to jail.
Yeah,
if you did not go do. Regardless of what you thought you should be doing, you were told what to do. And so, yes, sadly, the United States of America, particularly American youth, blamed those soldiers that were coming home and called them all sorts of names. And we'll celebrate. We'll do some honoring today. We'll do some celebration today. We'll talk about some of the activity in Washington, D.C., too.
Yeah, interesting.
Shutdown is apparently about to be over.
Maybe tomorrow. Well, if they can get
Hey.
everybody back, there's a lot of issues with the plane still.
Hey, so yeah.
It'd be funny if half of them can't get back because of delays.
I don't know what to tell you. Apparently the government shut down. Who knew?
Who knew? Matt, straight ahead. You guys have a good one. God bless each and every soldier out there. Thanks so much.